It's funny, recently my niece and nephew were watching YouTube kids stuff on the TV. So me and my brother ended up reminiscing about what we used to watch when we were younger. The first thing that was mentioned was Pingu for some reason, so it ended up on the TV. I still argue that actual television programs were much better for kids than YouTube content is now. But at the same time, I was reminded that Pingu was an absolutely mental show. Fast forward a bit, and in a complete coincidence, none other than Aardman Animations have announced they'll be bringing Pingu back to screens in his original Claymation style for the first time in almost 20 years. Now, I thought Pingu was a pretty widely known thing, but apparently he's actually quite niche, as the show was rarely ever broadcast in America, despite being shown in many other countries, which was easy due to the character's nonsensical yet universally understood made-up language, known as Pinguish. There's something about Pingu's father in particular that's just hilarious and completely absurd due to how straight the part is played. And today I learned that every single one of these voices were done by one guy, Carlo Bonomi, who passed away just a couple of years ago.
Ai, ma da brother di serie, te barakane dolo fare, de does separe fare, father.
In subsequent episodes, David Sant, Marcello Magni, and more recently, Mark Silk, who we've had on the channel, lent their voices to the characters, and it's unclear if any of these will return. The series was quoted as being an international sensation for more than 2 decades, while remaining as obscure to American audiences as a Eurovision pop star. So, for those of you who don't know, Pingu was a Swiss-German TV series, first created in the 1980s, with the original run airing from 1990 to the year 2000. During this time, it was picked up by the BBC in the UK, in a manner not too dissimilar to the original Wallace and Gromit shorts. After the show's success here, it was revived by the BBC for 2 additional series, broadcast from 2004 to 2006, followed by spin-off The Pingu Show, which ran into the following year. A cameo appearance in Peter Kay's animated all-star band in 2009 marked his final appearance as a physical Claymation character until now. Despite being Claymation, Pingu was never an Aardman thing. It was originally produced in Switzerland by the Pygos group, before being revived by British company HIT, also known as Henson International Television, which was bought out by Mattel in 2011, along with the rights to Pingu. Mattel recently saw success with the Barbie movie, so it induces confidence that they've now turned to Aardman, the king of stop motion, to bring Pingu back for a new generation. So Aardman has released an article featuring some details as to what to expect. The new animated series will be inspired by Mattel's lovable and mischievous young penguin who lives in the snow and ice of the South Pole. Often finding himself in tricky and comical situations, Pingu meets the challenges of life head-on, along with his mother, father, and little sister Pinga, who I always thought was his little brother, but there you go. Josh Silverman, the chief franchise officer of Mattel, says, "When we set out to bring Pingu back, partnering with the top-tier creative team at Aardman was a must. With Aardman's stop-motion magic and Pingu's universal charm that has made him a social media hit, we are excited to create fresh, snow-filled stories about our favourite penguin that are sure to warm hearts worldwide." I'm continuously surprised whenever I see online memes and trends that have so much of an impact that they end up inspiring actual TV shows and films. I don't know whether I'm a fan of it personally, but regardless, Pingu memes have apparently informed the decision to bring back the actual series. Sarah Cox, Chief Creative Director of Aardman, says that at Aardman we love collaborating with IP that shares our commitment to humour, charm and great storytelling. From our earliest conversations with Mattel, we felt an immediate and strong connection in our shared love of Pingu, the authentic appeal of the original IP and comedy that transcends language barriers to speak to audiences everywhere. Aardman and Pingu is such a natural and enticing combination. The charm of the stop frame animation, along with the quirky irreverence and character-driven storytelling, aligns perfectly with our creative approach. There are so many stories yet to tell, and we can't wait to get started. What's nice to read here is that they mention the authentic feel of the original IP, so they seem focused on recreating the vibe of the original series as much as possible, which is reminiscent of what they're doing with Wallace and Gromit currently. A lot of these iconic TV shows from a time gone by rely on a very specific and particular feel. The fact that they've gone to Aardman and are doing it in stop motion is a really good sign. And they mention that the comedy transcends language barriers, and that's really true in a similar manner to Shaun the Sheep, which has been immensely successful across the world because of that. And I can't emphasize enough how much the original performances of the characters added to that. In fact, I'd argue that that made the show. It's just so completely bizarre that you end up like taken aback and you just be like, well, what the hell is this? But yeah, in the original, you had this kind of slapstick comedy, and there was quite a few scenes in episodes that were just straight up banned in the original series due to how strange they could be. But if I'd say one thing, I hope that they don't water it down too much. Kind of, the perception that because it's made for kids, which it is, you dumb it down. But with a show like this, I think you just need to embrace the ludicrousy of the whole thing. Like the dad, for example. The reason that these scenes are so funny to watch is because, like, he sounds furious. But at the same time, it's absolute nonsense. That juxtaposition is what makes it still entertaining to watch years later. So going forward with this new series from Aardman and Mattel, I hope for one that whoever does the voices can do the characters justice, because if you had a vocal performance that was less intense than that of Carlo Bonomi, I just think it wouldn't quite resonate the same. So they need to get that right. I've no doubt they'll get the animation and the feel of it right, and yeah, hopefully it's not too watered down and censored for modern audiences. So let us know down in the comments if you were familiar with Pingu in your own childhood. It's a strange one that we've just kind of mentioned it recently and now it's coming back. I think any new kids television that keeps them away from Coco Melon for 2 seconds is a positive thing. So hopefully they'll do Pingu right. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.